Dave here. How are you? I have the Ender 3 Max Neo from Creality. It's a 3D printer, and I'm going to go through unboxing it, assembling it, and actually using it. And hopefully at the end of the video, you'll be able to just pop one of these together and get printing. Total disclosure, PMAEST, who are an Amazon distributor, gave this machine to me and said, Dave, give it a run, give us an honest review. I'll let you know there is no affiliation with me to this machine. The only thing is they said I can keep it after I've done the review, possibly because it would be more expensive to send it back to them. I'll put links in the video description down the bottom. And if you want to take advantage of getting with this machine, use those links and it'll get you straight. I have the printer laid out in front of me at the moment. I've got the back towards me, so the feed for the filament is on my right hand side and facing towards me. The front of the printer, and I've got to be careful because it all comes wired together except for the two Z drives. So you can bring that back and you can see where it's going to go. Just slide it straight down on the sides there. Just be careful as you go that you don't break anything. So it's just going to slide all the way down. See these cables here? Keep them towards the back of the printer. Don't have them out on the front. This is where they've got to go. Well, you can see that's gone on really easily. Now we're going to use these socket head cap screws. There are 4 of them. There's going to be 2 on this side and 2 on the other side. So we'll put those in straight away and you'll be amazed how quickly they line up. And there is a hex wrench here to tighten them up. When the head gets down close to the frame here, it starts to get a little bit tighter. And I think that's really good. It's just taking up the slack as it's going through the rest of the section down here. You can tell where the front of the machine is because the printing here, when you're looking at it, it will be in the right orientation. You won't be reading it upside down. Okay, turn the machine around. And we do the same again here. If you want to, you can give it a little bit of a nip this way. Whilst we're here, let's put the control panel on. Down here is where the mounting block for the control panel, this fellow, where it goes. There's 3 T-nuts and bolts that we're going to put in there. I find it easier just to take the end off here. I'll go to this little camera and you can look straight into the side while I do it. They give you a little screwdriver. You just pop that off if you want. That's off. Again, there's another Allen key. They give you a few Allen keys, different sizes. Okay, one goes in the top section and the 2 bottom ones go in the bottom section down here. Rotate the T-nuts around so they go in properly, like so. And then I'm going to push it along just a little bit, and the one up the top there. Okay, nice and tight. And we need to put the cap back on. Let's just line up these 4 little lugs with the female sections in the channel. Done. Now the control board is going to have the dial facing down towards you. Before we put it on, we need to put the ribbon cable into the back of it. There's a little keyway just there which is going to ensure that you put it up the right way. Put the cable in the right way. Done. So the cable is in, and now we push it down onto the top and down. It locks in. Perfect. Done. Next thing to do is connect the Z drives. There's a cable on both sides spin it around this way. Here, there's the cable. We'll plug that in. And the one on the other side. Down here. Done. Okay, we need to check the voltage. In the book, it will tell you, in this little instruction manual, it will give you an indication of either 230 volts or 110, I think it is. No, it's 115. There you go. See that? Just here. Okay, you can see it's showing 230 volts. And I could use my screwdriver to slide it across to 115, but I'm leaving it on 230 for Australia. Now to put the spool holder on, the filament holder on, what we do, make sure that the cables are behind the back of the gantry. So this is the front of the machine up here, back of the machine. This has got a little section here that can hook over and you rotate it down. So we will keep all of that out of the way for the moment. Push it down. And that's on. And then make sure these cables go underneath as well. I'll just pick that up, like so. There's a clearance area underneath, which works brilliantly. Now, they give you some spool. They give you a small spool of filament. And when I first saw it, I was wondering, well, what about the big ones that I've got? Because I have 1 kilo rolls of filament, and this is a 200 gram roll. So the 200 gram fits on perfectly. Use it, it's theirs, they've given it to you. And also a 1 kilo. A 1 kilo will also go on there and still be free to turn. That was a concern for me. I thought, oh, it may not work, but it does work fine. Yeah, I'm going to leave the orange filament in there because it's going to be easier to see it travel up through the tube as when I turn this on. Now, other things that they give you are, of course, all of the tools, and you can keep them in this little drawer. The drawer goes in the front there. That's pretty clever. And they give you a shovel and some side cutters, snips for cutting the filament. I'll show you how to use those in a minute. Some zip ties. They give you a micro SD card reader, and it's got a little cover that goes over the top there to keep it protected. You can use it for other ones as well, of course. A couple of brass fittings and a spare nozzle. These brass fittings are for this tube to go down onto the printhead and also from the filament drive. I'll pop those there. And they also give you a micro SD card, which already comes preloaded with some stuff, and a cable, of course. The plate. Now this is the plate that comes with it. The side that says Ender, I've found, is a little bit sticky. You could use that for things if you were concerned that they weren't going to hold. The other side is the side that I use, the clear side. And it works brilliantly, really, really well. Right beside the on-off switch. There it is. Before you turn it on, make sure you have the correct voltage on that switch around the back here before you turn this on. Okay, there we go. We're on. You can see the control panel is now going to liven up. So I will put the plate on. Oh, here's a little thing. These two things at the front, they rotate out left and right. So they open up like that, and then you can put the glass plate on. I'm going to turn it upside down, as I said. I prefer it that way. And you push it onto the two lugs at the back, just under the lugs, and then you swing these little guys back around, swinging the lug around, and that's it. Now I'm going to do a close-up on this control panel. Whilst I have you there, there's a warranty form for you to fill out, and the instruction book is pretty good. There's a whole heap of stuff in the instruction book. So I have a dial here which takes me from one section of the control panel to another. Now I'm going to first of all, put some filament in. So I'm going to click on the prepare button. So it's just a matter of push down on there, and it says preheat PLA, and that's what I'm going to do first off. So now it's heating up the hotbed and the nozzle. So the nozzle's at 19 degrees, it's going up to 200 degrees Celsius, and that nozzle, by the way, is a 0.4 millimeter, so it's 0.4 millimeter nozzle that's on board. You can use other sizes. The hotbed is up to 24 degrees. It's going to end up at 60 degrees Celsius. There's a Z offset, and I've got it set to minus 1.83 millimeters. You have to muck around with this. You can adjust by the control knob when you've gone back up to it. Let's do that now. I'll go up to there, and when I push down on that knob, I can then rotate clockwise or counterclockwise to adjust the height. And that's when we're looking for the ideal width of smear of the filament on the glass. Let's come back down to the preheat. Moving along, the nozzle's nearly at the right temperature. Now I'm doing this so that I can feed the filament in correctly and the nozzle itself will receive it. Now I did mention earlier that they give you some side cutters, and they suggest with the filament to cut it at 45 degrees. So I'm going to cut right across at 45 degrees. So now I can feed it in here. There's an arrow on the top here to show you where to feed it in. As you feed it in, just go carefully with it. You'll see a little light comes on. That's a little blue light, and that's an indicator that there's filament going into the drive. Then over here is a squeezy thing with a spring, and that pushes the idler pulley away from the gear drive. So you feed it in so it goes past that idler pulley while you've got the compression on the spring. If you let go, it's going to hold onto it. Feed it in, and you'll see the orange going up inside the tube. That's up here now. And then down to the actual print head. All the way in, then you let it go. That was pretty easy. As you can see, so far it's a piece of cake. It helps if someone's done it before and walks you through it like I am at the moment. One of the great things about this machine, it has belt tensioners on the Y and also on the X. And one last thing, I'll spin her around so you can have a look. On this side, you'll see that there is a stepper motor on each of the Z drives, one either side. So they're synchronized via this belt at the top here. That's a pretty cool idea. So they can't really get out of sync from each other. Magic. So we're now up to the temperature. It is 60 degrees and 60 degrees, 200 and 200. Now I can take it back through there and go back up and hit back. And I can now take it down to level. When I hit level, it's going to do a little test, and it's quite cute. I'm going to move the camera for it before I push the level test. Okay, see this thing here? That is going to touch and get the right height. Now it's been pulled back up by a magnet, and now it's going to go around and it's going to find the exact height of each point. It's going to do 25 points around the plate. And over on the side, it's telling me the height differences. So down here, 6.8 millimeters, 6.8 again, 6.8 again, 6.9. Right over on the left-hand side, it was 6.9. Back to 6.8. That's 0.1 of a millimeter. That would just be in the difference in the thickness of the glass. There's these big wheels under here for adjusting. So 6.9 to 6.7 is our maximum. So it's 0.2 of a millimetre over the whole width of the glass. And that one is reading 6.9. 6.9 again. 6.8. And the last one. All right, now we need to put a card in. The card goes in the front. There's a micro SD card slot there and a USB port there. I think it's this way up. Now I can take it back through Control, Prepare, the Z offset. Let's do that. We can adjust. I'm going to take it down to around about 1.75 is what it comes at standard. So I'm going to leave it there. 1.75 will do me. Push it on the control knob and then I can go to auto home. And it's homing. You notice the little sensor just popped out again? Okay, it's homed. Now with the control knob, I'm going to take it back up to the top and push on the control knob to take me back to the main menu. And then I can go to print and I can click on that. I think I'll go with that one. So I'm going to say print that just by pushing. Okay, we're waiting for the temperatures to be correct. The printing time will tell you correct how long it's been printing. The remaining time is not really good. Of course, the first layer is very slow ordinarily. And it will think, all right, well, maybe the whole print is going to go at this speed really slowly. But it doesn't. It will increase and decrease in time. Finding where it is probably going to lay down a trail for us, just to check whether the filament's coming out correctly. There it goes. It's done a little kind of a squirrely thing of filament there. We'll move that off the plate. And you can see the filament is going down quite nicely. This is a simple disc. That was the skirt first around the outside, and the disc is going to be on the inside. A couple of layers, as in width, and then it'll start doing the infill across. Now see, that's very slow. So now it's showing 2 hours and 8 minutes after 4 minutes of printing. It's jumping it up big time. There's the print. Feeding the orange filament down through and off the spool. Pros and cons of this machine. The pros, it's super fast to assemble. There's very, very little to do. You're up and running in 10 minutes. The control, so easy to use, that knob and the dial, very, very easy to use. The adjust or the tensioners on the belts for the X and the Y axis, brilliant. I love this feed. The fact that also it will detect when it's run out of filament as it goes past this little device here that you can't see. Obviously, I'll have to turn it around a little bit. This device right here will let you know if you've run out of filament, and it will stop the job and let you put new filament in and then continue. So big plus. Similar to, the more expensive machines. The glass plate, I possibly would prefer a metal plate for working on the heat bed area. I think you'd probably be able to maintain a more constant thickness. I guess the glass plate is there to help stiffen the bed because it's only running on one rail on the y-axis. Now, the x-axis also is running on one rail, but it's not carrying the weight of that whole plate. This is possibly the downside of the machine. The con is I'm not a fan of this single rail through the center. Two rails would give you a whole lot more stability, but we're really only talking about very lightweight products being made on this plate. So maybe that's a moot point. I don't know. The sensor here is fantastic. I love it. They say that it does automatic leveling, and in conjunction with these little dials down here, you can get the bed absolutely perfect. I think that this particular bed, I'm getting around about 0.2 of a millimeter difference in the actual height of the glass itself, and that is not going to level up through this system. If I'm working in the middle and possibly 6 inches or 150 millimeters in the center, not an issue. But if I'm working and creating a print or a few different prints and taking advantage of all of this real estate here, well then on one side I may be getting a good print, and on this side my first layer might be wafer thin, and if they get really, really thin, they are going to bond to this glass a lot. I guess that's why they offer you a shovel. See, this is a shovel. Overall, I think this is a great printer. For the money, this is a bargain. So if you like what I'm doing, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and keep on coming back. Tell your friends, and we'll do more fun stuff like this.